What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And as you see the title of the broadcast here, this is where we at now. So, of course, Minnesota is going to be outraged a lot longer here because they won't accept the fact that ICE is doing their job. And this is where we at now. So, apparently, the internet and other news outlets and stuff like that are reporting that, a situation here with a 5-year-old boy. And apparently, ICE was detaining the father of this 5-year-old boy, and they happened to catch him outside the house with the 5-year-old boy and things like that. But the son was already in the car. So now it's all types of rhetoric being thrown around. Oh, ICE is, detaining children now and, 5-year-old babies and stuff like that. It's crazy to me how people are not understanding what's going on here and not looking at things for face value. And this is ridiculous. So we're going to dive off into this. We're going to see what's going on here. Quarters, nickels, and dimes.
To the other news tonight, the growing outrage in Minneapolis, the images of a 5-year-old boy returning home from preschool, detained by ICE. Agents taking the boy and his father into custody. Vice President JD Vance in Minneapolis today, defending ICE agents, claiming they were protecting the child, saying, what are they supposed to do? Matt Rivers in Minneapolis again tonight.
Tonight, the haunting images sparking a firestorm. A preschool boy standing in the Minnesota cold, swept up in the ICE crackdown. School officials say 5-year-old Liam, wearing his blue hat and backpack, and his father, Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, had just pulled into their suburban Minneapolis driveway Tuesday when agents took that father into custody. The school then saying an agent essentially used the 5-year-old as bait, directing him to see if anyone else was home before taking the boy away. The district saying Liam is among 4 students recently detained.
The sense of safety in our community and around our schools is shaken, and our hearts are shattered. And honestly, at the end of the day, children should be in school with their classmates.
But DHS telling a different story, saying ICE did not target a child, claiming Liam's father is an undocumented immigrant and fled on foot, abandoning his son in the driveway. Tonight, during a visit here in Minneapolis, Vice President JD Vance saying the agents were protecting the child.
What are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death?
But the district says multiple people on scene did offer to take the child, but were refused. Vance broadly praising the work of federal agents, saying the vast majority are doing excellent work. But
now, before we keep going here, okay, they clearly said that there was other people on the scene that, would actually take the child and things like that. Listen, look here, people. I don't know what you're thinking. When you have law enforcement on scene and situations like this are going down and children are involved, once children are involved in the laws, basically the laws have the child, they're not just going to turn the child over to just anybody that walks up and say that we'll take the child. That's not how that works. Not legally, anything. Like when a crack house gets raided and there's children there, and let's say the neighbor is well known to the family, whatever, neighborhood shit like that. And it's a neighbor that walks up, maybe even an elderly lady, not elderly, but saying an older lady, stuff like that. Well, I know them and I know the child, and I'll be more than happy to take the child while y'all handle that. They're not going to turn the child over to them. They're not going to turn the child over to her. They're going to call CPS. The investigations are going to be had, things like that. It's procedures to this situation. They was not just finna turn a child over to what they felt like was a stranger as law enforcement. That makes no logical sense. And see, we need to understand when things like this and people put their children in these predicaments and these situations and stuff like that, this is how it's going down. You can't, they're not going to raid a crack house and it's children in there, innocent babies. And then the neighbors walk up and be like, well, we'll take the children. We know these children. We know them so this long, this and that. They're not going to turn those children over. Man, this is hilarious that people would actually walk up to law enforcement and think that they're just going to turn innocent children after they didn't basically raided or tried to arrest the father and stuff like that, they're just going to turn this child over to somebody that they don't even know. Come on, people. Come on.
But for the first time tonight, the administration telling me they are willing to discipline ICE officers, quote, when justified.
Somebody did something wrong, yes, they're going to face disciplinary action, but we're not going to judge them in the court of public opinion.
Vance saying he's trying to ease soaring tensions amid furious protests.
And I get that too. You know, if because humans are humans, you know, whether they work for law enforcement, for the government, for JP Morgan, you know what I'm saying? Like humans are humans. And I get it. If they are finding something where one of the officers are rogue or stupid or something like that, then yeah, we got to handle that dude or lady, whatever. I'm saying though, at this point right here, I don't think that they needed to turn that child over to just random people walking up talking about we'll take the child because we know the child. That had to be the case, you know, like, come on, people.
Border Patrol Commander at Large Greg Bavino tossing a smoke grenade into an unruly crowd. Agents pinning this person to the ground, this stunning image of the pepper spray at close range.
And David, tonight, the chilling image of that little boy standing out in the cold, striking a chord with so many here. The family's lawyer saying the boy's father did come to this country legally. And David, tonight we've learned that both father and son are being held together at a processing facility near San Antonio. David.
Matt Rivers in Minneapolis.
Hold on. All right, so this is where we at. That's you know, ABC, Real Talk, you know. And let's see what's going on here next. So we're going to hear from JD Vance and see the long form of what he had to say and stuff like that. And let's just go here. Let's check this out. See what JD had to say about the situation. It's a little bit longer video instead of being, you know, kind of chopped up like that, like in news reports. Let's go here now.
A local school district here is alleging ICE agents detaining a 5-year-old after preschool on Tuesday. We've also seen multiple American citizens detained by ICE or harassed by ICE in the last 6 weeks. Are you proud of how your administration is conducting this immigration crackdown here in Minnesota right now?
Well, I'm proud of the fact that we're standing behind law enforcement, and I'm proud of the fact that we're enforcing the country's laws. But, you know, you asked a question about this 5-year-old kid. I actually saw this terrible story while I was coming to Minneapolis. We just left Toledo, Ohio this morning for an economic messaging event. And I see this story, and I'm a father of a 5-year-old, actually, a 5-year-old little boy. And I think to myself, oh my God, this is terrible. How did we arrest a 5-year-old? Well, I do a little bit more follow-up research. And what I find is that the 5-year-old was not arrested, that his dad was an illegal alien. And then when they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America? If the argument is that you can't arrest people who have violated our laws because they have children, then every single parent is going to be completely given immunity from ever being the subject of law enforcement. That doesn't make any sense. No one thinks that makes any sense.
Right. And like I did, that's the reason why I gave the scenario of running up in the crack house or a drug den or anything illegal. And there's children there. Because, you know, people that do illegal stuff, they have children too. And these places get invaded by law enforcement because it's illegal and there's children there. No, I mean, the children are not arrested. Of course not. That makes no logical sense. That you would arrest a child makes no logical sense. But yes, they will be kind of kept to a degree to definitely, you know, to allow CPS to get there and things like that and try to figure stuff out, see who's next of kin and try to get the child to the best possible stable place that they possibly can out of that chaos. It just is what it is, people. It just is what it is.
Now, you know, there are so many of these cases like that where if you just understand the context, there have been a number of situations that I've looked into personally where I say, wait a second, We don't want ICE arresting American citizens. They're supposed to be enforcing the immigration laws against illegal aliens.
Right.
So then I look into it and I find out that the American citizen who was arrested took a swing at an ICE officer. You can't have that happen. And of course they have to defend themselves. And of course they have the right to detain somebody who assaults a law enforcement officer. Now, this is my point. Do we want these things to happen? Do we want these arrests to be so chaotic? No, we don't. These guys want it least of all. But if we had a little cooperation from local and from local and state officials, I think the chaos would go way down in this community.
Right. It would. It would be obsolete. But we have a bunch of bats out here in today's society, and definitely America's divided now. And if we keep being divided this way, we will be conquered. And sad to see what we're dealing with here. It's crazy and chaotic, and we're sitting around here trying to accuse people of arresting children, knowing good and damn well that's impossible to do. Man, when is a certain side going to wake up? When are these crazy bat liberal type of people going to stop the foolishness and going to stop engaging in this horrible way of thinking? Because it makes no sense. I mean, like, it has to be some type of common ground here to know that, law enforcement is not arresting children. Jesus, man. But when parents put these children in these awkward and dangerous and disrespectful situations, then what is there to do? Yes, you have to blame the parents here, man. If I was to take my child somewhere where I know it's going to be danger and things like that, and I took my 5-year-old child there, that's on me as the parent. I'm the stupid one. I just, man, I can't fathom, being stupid like that and blaming other people for my fuck ups and my bad decisions. Let's keep going here. This is wild, people. This is wild.
Here in the U.S. Border Patrol, I will say unequivocally that we are experts in dealing with children. Over those past 4 years, hundreds of thousands of children were trafficked across that border. Guess who they came into contact with? Sometimes who was the very first law enforcement agency or American citizen that they saw? U.S. Border Patrol. Now, the 5-year-old yesterday, some of you had questions on the 5-year-old yesterday. That 5-year-old remains with his family. We say that again, remains with his family. We know that. That fault.
Oh, but hold on. Let's go here now. But ABC just said that, the 5-year-old was detained with the father. So hold on now. Which one is it here? We're going to listen to the officer here that's actually engaging in the situation and has the proper information that needs to be told. So he's saying that the 5-year-old is with the family, not detained with the father. They did arrest the dad. They did get the dad. So he's not detained with the father. Let's keep going.
Media narrative that was pushed out yesterday was, well, it was false. It remains with his family.
It's a shame to see politicians and activists spreading fear in their own communities by creating a false narrative about what we do and who we are and who we arrest. This week, ICRO conducted targeted enforcement operation to arrest Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, an illegal alien who was released back into the interior of the United States by the previous administration. When officers approached Conejo Arias, he and his child were in a vehicle. Arias fled from law enforcement on foot, abandoning his child in the middle of winter in a vehicle. One of our officers stayed behind with that child while other officers apprehended his father. After conducting the arrest, my officers stayed with the child. They cared for him, took him to get something to eat from a drive-through restaurant, and spent hours ensuring he was taken care of.
Wow. Stop it. Oh, but ICE is horrible, though. They're arresting children and carrying them to McDonald's. This is man, when y'all people gonna stop out there? When you stupid, sideways, crazy bat liberals gonna stop this foolishness? So they arrested a 5-year-old. They detained a 5-year-old and carried him to McDonald's and got a Happy Meal. Oh my goodness. But ICE is so horrible. Those are horrible people. Horrible people. They don't care about the children. They're arresting and detaining children and taking them to McDonald's. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, man. Wow.
Again, my officers did that, not his father.
Right.
My officers did everything they could to reunite him with his family. Tragically, when we approached the door of his residence, the people inside refused to take him in and open the door.
So that
Fortunately,
hold on. So that was that footage that y'all saw where they had the little boy at the door and they was knocking on the door to try to find out if anybody that the driveway that they was already in, that the house they just came out of, right? The dude and his son, he put his son in the car. ICE pulls up. He dips off. Baby's still in the car. They get the baby out the car. Things like it's cold. Real talk. If you leave it, just like with the summertime, you leave a child in the car. It's too hot. It'll delete them. Same with winter. You leave a child in the car. It get too cold. Same results. So they took the baby out the car, carry the baby up to the door, see what's going on, see if anybody gonna answer. Nobody answered to take this baby in of the house that him and his father just came out of. Okay.
Conejo Arias eventually requested that his child stay with him. We do everything in our power not to separate families. So they took him back together to Minneapolis, here to the city, to the ICE facility for processing. And now they are being well cared for at a family residential center, pending their immigration proceedings. Conejo Arias was not walking to school with his child.
Okay, so they did take him back. You know what I'm saying? So, okay. From what this officer is saying now, from what the other officer just said, that they did take him back to the facility, and you know what I'm saying, they're trying not to break up the families. Okay. I can get that. But it's still a facility. Hopefully they find some family that they can give the child to outside of the facility. Let's keep going. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going. Let's see what's happening.
And we did not target the child. I also want to clarify the recent arrests of the ringleaders of the city's church riots. Federal law protects the freedom of religion and the right.
Okay, so they're going off into the church riots. That's it on that. Listen, look, man. Okay, so apparently, you know, here at the end, this officer here is saying that they, you know what I'm saying, took the child. They didn't separate the child from, you know what I'm saying, the family. Well, from his dad, basically. So I'm thinking to retract on what the other officer said. I'm thinking that that's what he kind of was meaning, that he was still with family. So it is what it is here, people. You know, and still at the same time, though, too, you know, when you put your children in these dangerous situations and stuff like that, definitely, you know, being over here illegally and stuff like that, that is a danger, you know, and it's wild out here that we can't accept these facts about what ICE is doing, and they're getting the illegals up out of here and things like that. It definitely is a crime to come into a country illegally, period. And it's nowhere around that. I can't go anywhere in any other part of the planet and just live there illegally. You can't, I can't, no, you know, it just don't work that way. And I'm sick of people over here in America, you know, a certain segment thinking that we could just go places too and just live illegally, but subconsciously and not even subconsciously, reality, a lot of these people that are protesting against ICE know they can't even go anywhere in the world without passports, you know what I'm saying, making sure they take their proper shots to go to these other countries and stuff like that. And you know, it just is what it is. It just is what it is. But technically, this 5-year-old boy was not arrested or detained. He was kept safe. They tried to knock on the door of the house that him and his father just came out of to see if any other relatives were there to, give the little boy to, so he'll be safe. But obviously they didn't answer the door. They had no other choice. So this is where we at here, people. This is sad, and it's a damn shame that these kids are involved, regardless of what race, culture, whatever they come from. It's a sad day that these children are having to suffer out here because of adults' decisions and things like that. And they think that they can just go to other places and rule or reign or live there for free, whatever. It is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.